we believe, that a new learning experience is required to really achieve the goals of Blackboard, to really achieve the trend. I think our evolution as a company has put us in place to really drive this, to lead this. And we look back and we step back and we said, what are some of the common themes that are needed in a new learning experience, okay? Don't think about VLE or LMS or collaboration virtual classroom tool. Think about what's a new learning experience? How does it all connect? How does it all come together? And what could Blackboard do very special that maybe others can't because we're involved in many of the workflows that make up the process of learning as it relates to technology. We want to move beyond the traditional LMS or VLE. We want to move beyond simple grade books and management tools and submission boards and discussion boards, and we want to get to a more comprehensive learning experience. Something that fully meets the needs of today's students, today's faculty, something that progresses from elementary all the way through high school into higher ed, and then beyond in the professional world as careers are developed. We think that these components that are sitting on the slide here, something around redesigned but consistently redesigned portfolio of products, one that has integration as a core tenet for what we do, integration of the tools and integration of the data, one that really thinks about the learner at the center of the process. Everything is about the learner. If we're not doing it and it doesn't delight the learner, we shouldn't really be doing it, in our opinion. And then finally, it should be designed across the student journey. And the student journey, by the way, doesn't just end at graduation. It continues post-graduation because the learning continues. And so that's something that we have really thought very hard about over the last 2 years, and we're really pleased to start to unveil some components of it, and I'll talk about that. So I want to introduce the new learning experience, and I want to talk about it in the context of theoretical terms that I'll define a little bit, and then I'll do it in the context of some of the products that we have. Okay, so I think it's a truly transformational way to approach learning. It defines a connected learning experience, one that comes from the learner's perspective, not the administrator or the IT department or even the faculty's perspective, the learner's perspective, and is tailored to their needs. These 4 words, I'm going to use these 4 words a lot over the coming months and years, and we will do it in the context of the releases that we're doing, but first one is personal. We want it to be interactive, an interactive way for learning to happen, where it meets individual needs, not just group needs, not just administrative needs. We want it to be intuitive. We want it to engage, engage the user. Something that feels very natural and obvious. Something that flows and is delightful. I keep using the word delightful because it means a lot to me. Using your tool should be delightful. You should love being in it, and we want to be that provider. It should be connected. So all of the workflows around the learner's journey through education should in some way be connected. And we offer a bunch of those workflows ourselves, let alone our third-party partners, but it should be connected. And then finally, it should be pervasive. You should be able to access it anywhere you are at any time in any device, and it should be fluid. It should feel the same. It should size the same. It should operate the same way. So I'll read this because I think it's a fairly elegant way of describing it. The new learning experience is a new approach to education that fosters better engagement, interaction, and quality learning through the delivery of leading-edge technology, services, and capabilities. So we're trying to improve the journey of the student, whatever form that journey takes, through the use of technology, through services, through implementation, and we'll talk about how that looks. So think about a day, we want to foster better engagement of the student in their learning process. We want to deliver these flexible, integrated, scalable environments. And we need to do it thinking about the day of a student. And I could give you 50 typical days of students because it all varies. But you can see, a student that's involved in an education environment might check their class schedule in the morning, probably through their mobile device. Maybe they figure out that, oh my God, I didn't pay my tuition. Maybe later in the day they want to pay. So that's a different part of the journey. It's not learning, but it's certainly part of the student's journey. They realize that they need to get in this study group to accommodate and to accomplish what they're trying to achieve, so they attend a virtual study group because they're not going to do it physically because maybe they're a virtual learner, maybe they're a distance learner, maybe they're a physical learner, but they want to access people outside the university or in study groups. They want to do homework. Maybe later in that evening, they realize, oh my God, I need access to the professor. Professor has virtual night hours, virtual office hours in the evening. They go online, they hit that. Maybe they want to, all the while they're thinking about the culmination of their education journey, if you will, into a professional environment. So they want job board access. They want to represent their competencies and their skills and the things they learn in a more effective way to the community that they'll ultimately live in. We want to be able to offer that. Maybe later in the night, oh my God, I need this text or I need this piece of content. I want to go buy it. I want to go procure it. I want to do that inside my environment. And then finally, maybe they want to check in with their parents if they're in K-12 or even if they're in higher ed or some other constituency and they want fluid communication. These are all things that a student does. Today, they have to do that in a lot of different ways through a lot of different methodologies. And that's just one workflow. Again, I'm not trying to solve every workflow here, one workflow. Tomorrow, what we want them to do, fortunately, Blackboard plays in a lot of these different workflows, right? We want them to do it in a fluid, connected way that's consistent, that feels safe and feels elegant and is delightful. We want them to have mobile apps to check their class schedule. Blackboard offers student services to run financial aid desks and help desks, and that should be linked into the learning environment. We offer that. We have call centers and people doing that for institutions, and that should link in if you're an institution that is a customer of ours. If you're going to that study group, whether it's a study group in your university or a China study group to learn about Chinese history in a Chinese history class, you should be able to go through virtual collaboration tools, through our virtual classroom, virtual collaboration and online tools. Our next generation learning environments should offer fantastic course management. We should be able to manage your personal portfolio right in the learning environment where you're creating the evidence of your education so that careers can be directed, so that professionals can look at you, so that you can look at professionals right out of that environment. I talked about that buying that math book or buying some piece of content. You should be able to do that right inside your learning environment, and then ultimately you should be able to pop out in a communication form. By the way, all of those things are possible today. We offer technologies and services and tools to accomplish this. They're just not necessarily a part of the same experience, right? They're just not necessarily linked up. Data's not linked up. Interfaces aren't linked up. The workflows aren't linked up. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Think about the wheel and think about the link.